This episode is sponsored by Smart Travel, a new podcast from NerdWallet. You know that one friend who always finds the best travel deals, picks the right cards, and somehow ends up in first class for the price of coach? How do they do that? Well, Smart Travel is like that friend, but in podcast form. They cover all things travel finance, like which travel cards earn their keep and which are just heavy, shiny metal, and planning group trips that won't ruin your budget or your friendships. So travel smarter and spend less. That's the key with help from NerdWallet. Follow Smart Travel wherever you get your podcasts. Armchair Explorer is a part of the Voyescape podcast network. Check out all of their shows from around the world at voyescape.com. Welcome to Armchair Explorer on location. Travel and adventure stories recorded in the field in the most immersive way possible, designed to give you a glimpse of what it feels like to be there for real. Are you ready? Let's go. Liquid tourism. How good does that sound? A proper summer holiday material, pub crawls, wine tasting, maybe a cheeky distillery or two. Well, that's what this episode is all about. We're going to take you to Yolo, California, which you may remember from previous episodes is an absolutely gorgeous hidden gem of a food and wine destination up there near Sacramento, California. Absolutely love it. But this episode is a little different from our previous on-location documentaries. We're going to try out a new format. Love to know what you think. Instead of producing the whole thing as one big documentary-style piece, producer Jason Paton and I, in the spirit of liquid tourism itself, sat down for a couple of beers and a bit of a chinwag about our travels, and then we cut in some of our highlight clips along the way. Honestly, I got to tell you, this was one of the most fun episodes I've made. Jason and I have a proper laugh traveling together. He's a really funny guy. And I think this episode captures a little glimpse behind the scenes into the fun and banter that we have on the road, while at the same time showing off a really cool part of California and a style of travel that I hadn't heard of before. Liquid tourism. It has a ring to it, doesn't it? So I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, please check out the rest of the series by searching up Yolo County. Indulge in the authentic wherever you get your shows. We'll put the link in the show notes too. Right, let's have some fun. Hi, I'm Aaron Millar, travel writer and the host of YOLO Food and Wine, where good times grow. And we got something special for you today. Two words that should go together, and I've never heard together: liquid tourism. Cheers. And not just any liquid. We're talking about spirits, we're talking about beer, and of course, being Yolo County, the wine that makes this region so unique and so delicious. And today, I'm joined for the first time by my producer, driver, and human mic stand, Jason Paton.
Hey there.
You know what? I'm going to, straight off the back, apologize. You are so much more than a human mic stand. You also press record.
It's a small button too, so it takes a bit of skill to hit that.
I feel like a lot of the time you just keep looking down to make it look like you're busy, but actually you're not busy.
Oh, caught. No, I mean, I'm checking. Is it still going?
Well, Jason and I get to travel all over America making shows for different places, but this was a really special one, wasn't this, mate? Because this was some of the best food and wine you'll ever drink.
Yeah, it was a really different trip than the ones we normally go on, where you know, we've done adventure stuff, mountaintops, lava caves and all that, and this was an excuse to slow way down, enjoy some food and drink, and just chill.
Yeah.
And we did so much chilling on this trip.
And so much food and
You'd
wine.
spend the whole day interviewing people from various farms and wineries and breweries and all this, and then we'd go back to the hotel and, well,
professionally go out and review the tasting rooms.
Exactly. You gotta review the day's tape and
exactly
sample the samples.
No, so true. And I think that's one of the nice things about YOLO. It's all about that kind of good life, slowing down and enjoying just being present, a good meal with friends and relatives, that kind of thing. So it was a beautiful trip, but now we are going into liquid tourism. We're going to learn the art of distilling. We're going to actually practice bottling. I got to bottle my own bottle of whiskey.
After a couple of attempts.
It's harder than it looks. And lots of other amazing things. But we're going to begin our journey in a beautiful little town called Winters, right at the side of Highway 128. This is the gateway for the Wine to Waves road trip. And we're going to be meeting Corinne Martinez, the co-owner of Berryessa Gap, to find out more. Corinne, nice to meet you. What a gorgeous day. This is the perfect day to see Berryessa Gap Winery. What a view you have here.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Winters and welcome to the western part of Yolo County here. So we're out here at our production facility on Highway 128. We're a few miles west of the town of Winters, and we're looking out at the Berryessa Gap. And that is a gap in the inner slope of the coastal range, behind which lies Lake Berryessa, and so hence its name, the Berryessa Gap. It is a prominent and beautiful landmark that is visible from hundreds of miles to the east as you come across the valley. So the gap behind it, there's a dam, and behind that dam is Lake Berryessa, and that's how it got its name. And that's important not just because it looks good, but also because of what it does for us from a climate perspective and where our grapes are grown. It's created a microclimate forest here. Those of us that have grapes planted in the hillside just below the gap are in this unique microclimate for growing grapes, where we have the benefit of a cooling effect that comes in through the gap off the lake. We call it the last remnants of the coastal influence that come through there, and a bit of a lake effect. And we also have the benefit of that being, there's a massive alluvial plain here that we're standing on that was created prior to there being a dam, way back in ancient history. And if you look at the geology here, this alluvial plain that we're on has created in these rolling foothills where our grapes are planted, great growing conditions for grapes because of the soils that are there, the gravelly loam, some clay soil underneath it. And so because it's so unique, we've taken the step to apply for our own AVA. We've submitted an application to the TTB, which are the people that approve this, which, believe it or not, is part of the United States Department of Treasury. But anyway, we've submitted a perfected application, and we're just waiting for the rules to be written. Unfortunately, that takes a really long time because evidently they only have one person that writes the rules. We will soon have a Winters Highlands AVA that our grapes are grown in, and we're standing on Winters Highlands ground right now. So we're looking forward to being able to let people know how unique this growing region is and how important it is, and being able to put that on the bottle and say, we're in the Winters Highlands AVA here.
You know what I love about this view is, you're seeing this kind of slow indentation of a valley and the beautiful pale hills, the rolling hills, and I'm looking through the vines here with your rootstock growing. It looks like a smile, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like there's a little smile here, and so it should be smiling because this is the start of our slow wine tour through Yolo County, and I've got a big smile on my face because we're starting here with you at Berryessa Gap, and there couldn't be a better place to start. So should we go have a look around?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Thanks. That was a beautiful view, wasn't it? Do you remember it?
I do distinctly, although it was pretty early in the day. I'm not going to lie. Like, if you're like, all right, you're out for a day full of tastings and the day starts at, what was that, 7 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning?
What's wrong with drinking wine at 7 in the morning?
Yeah, nothing, especially if it's from the great AVA terroir of the highlands of Berryessa.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? To find out that they're getting their own AVA, which means that they're getting their kind of own distinction for this unique terroir. And it really is, because it's created by this rich soil, this rich agricultural soil, but they also have like this maritime climate coming in. So many of the wines we tried you can't get anywhere else, and for me that somehow made them taste better.
Yeah, the rarity, I think that always makes it taste better. I'm just struck that it's the U.S. Treasury Department that designates it. That's just not who I would have expected. But yeah, anyway.
But just a little bit more on that 128 wine to waves. You can do it waves to wine, of course, too. But what's super cool about that is Yolo County is actually only an hour away from San Francisco, which is crazy.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's like an hour and a half from San Francisco. So it's like totally easy to go from San Fran out here. And the thing is, so many people do San Francisco, Sonoma, Napa. Obviously, those are big, famous wine regions. But YOLO, that's California's wine secret.
Yeah.
It's so much cooler.
Yeah, it gives you that vibe like the scrappy underdog when you're going from these places to places. I find them, I don't know, so much more unique. I'm speaking like I've been to a billion wineries. I have not. You are someone, though, that's been to a lot of different...
I love my wine. Stomping grapes.
Yeah,
I got to stomp grapes.
I was not going to sample the product of your foot juice down there.
Thank God
sorry.
they didn't let you stomp grapes. It's like, just throw out the barrel straight away.
Hey, I'm a custom AVA over here.
Yeah, exactly. You get your own AVA when your feet mix with the grapes. But yeah, what's cool about the Highway 128 is that you go through Sonoma and Napa, but you also get to experience this. And there are wines that you can get here that you can't get anywhere else that taste completely different to Sonoma and Napa, despite being so close. And there's lots of cool places you can stay, and there's lots of beautiful scenery as well. And I really want to do this trip, actually, the next time we go out there. We're going to go out there later in the year, spend 2 or 3 days, take your time, get someone else to do the driving. And
yeah, the next time we bring another driver so I can have just as much fun.
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't need to do any driving to get from Berryessa Winery to Berryessa Brewing.
No, you literally only... That was a fantastic link, by the way, Jason. It's almost like it's not your first time. Yeah, it's literally about 10 or 15 steps from the winery, and...
It's a really cool spot that they have, though. They had a great record collection in there. It feels like a different tone than the winery itself.
Yeah,
and, you know, you got live music events going on there. Even the names of some of the beers themselves, like the one that we're going to be sampling here, the Free Kittens Rice Lager.
There's a great story behind that.
Yeah, well, we will talk about that one after we meet the bartender at the Berryessa Brewing Company and sample some of their excellent beer.
That sounds great. Let's go. You'd be right at home in my home country where we like a nice lager like this. You've got wonderful names too, which I always appreciate. Free Kittens Rice Lager, Separation Anxiety IPA. Is that because you get separation anxiety if you haven't had an IPA for a while?
Yeah.
We all do, right? And then the applesauce lager. Tell me about that.
It's a collaboration that we did with a cidery in Sacramento. They provided us with some apple juice, Granny Smith apples, and then we combined it with lager yeast and basic Pilsner malt base to create a very light, drinkable, like a cider, but not as sweet, more dry, a little malt character.
Ooh, look how clear and light colored that is. It almost looks like a white wine, I want to say. Yeah, but it's got the foam on top. You can really smell the apple with it too.
Yeah.
That's really unique. I really get the cider, but it's much more subtle. I don't know anyone that's making that. I've never heard of that before. Because this is kind of one of your crazy inventions.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I always think a good brewer is like part mad scientist, part beer drinker, you know.
You definitely fit the bill, for sure.
Well, hey, thanks for letting us hang out and try some of your beers.
Yeah.
All right, so you sampled the Free Kittens Rice Lager. Do you know the story behind that one?
Well, I just want to start off by saying no kittens were harmed in the making of that beer.
Yeah, there's 0% feline in it. The story is there was a box of kittens left behind somewhere at the brewery at some point, and they were distributed amongst the staff. Well, I mean, distributed sounds like they were forced to take a cat. I think they all kindly each took a kitten and ended up naming one of their beers after it, which I think is a very sweet story. It kind of speaks to like the, the vibe of the staff. Oh, who wouldn't take a free cat, though?
Who wouldn't? Be honest now. If someone just on the street randomly gave you a free kitten, what would you do?
It depends on how many cats I already have at home entirely.
Isn't there a algorithm that the more cats you have at home, the more likely you are to take another one?
Well, it's just that sunken cost fallacy. Like, what's one more? What's one more? And then before you know it, you're a crazy cat man.
No, that was a ton of fun. And the thing is, there is so much more craft beer out there. I know a lot of people that come to YOLO are into their wine, and so you should be, but there is a ton of craft beer out there too. We had a bunch of fun experimenting with lots of different local brews, which I always absolutely love to do because, of course, wine has a terroir, which means the way that all these different elements of the soil and the climatic conditions combine to give the wine that unique flavor. But I always think in some ways, beer has that too.
I think it has to in places like YOLO like this. You're sipping that applesauce lager, you're drinking something made with apples that were like, we passed the orchard on the way to Berryessa Brewing.
That's right.
We kept encountering this wherever we went in Yolo County, where these companies are all collaborating together to produce something that's so uniquely local. And that phrase also comes up at our next location, which is at Patio 29, a distillery. So now we're swapping from beer to spirits, from grain to glass.
Oh, I like that.
Where you can see the ingredients ingredients on your drive to the distillery in the fields around you.
You know, and one of the episodes we did, and if you guys haven't listened to that yet, it's our slow food episode. It's all about that, really. It's about how we've become kind of disconnected, really, from where we get our food. And that was something that I guess really affected me while I was there, is the way that you become connected to the farmers and the produce and to the plate, and it becomes this whole circle, which I found really, really interesting.
Yeah, and Patio 29 features spirits that are made with tons of their neighbors in Yolo County. I think there's only one exception. I don't believe it comes up in this clip, but I think there's one thing that you just cannot grow in Yolo that I think it's included in the rum.
Sugarcane.
Exactly. That might be like the only ingredient that they import. Everything else is something that you would pick out of your backyard, essentially.
But let's start off with whiskey and check out Patio 29.
Kentucky used to be the only place you could get bourbon. Now we're finding you can make great bourbon in a lot of different places in the country. So
for sure. And so you said you use a lot of local produce. Yeah. Is that important to you? What do you use?
That's very important to us. So all of our grain is sourced locally. It's grown here in the valley. We use corn, rye, wheat, barley, and then we also use malted barley and malted rye. All the grain is grown here in the valley. We source all that from Woodland, it's a neighboring city. And then all the malted grains we get from a place called Admiral Malting. They're one of the only malting floors in California. They get all of their grain from Adams Grain, where we get our grain. So all that grain goes full circle. We're all close to it. If we're driving into the neighboring cities, chances are we're going to be looking at the corn or the wheat that we're going to end up using in our bourbon. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you've heard of farm to fork, right? It's like farm to bottle.
Farm to bottle. Yep. Yeah, that's right. Farm to bottle, grain to glass. You know, there's a lot of different terms we use for it. But yeah, that's definitely one of our main missions here, is to make sure we're taking full advantage of the local agriculture. We're one of the best places in the world to be growing almost anything. And so it'd be ridiculous for us to not take advantage of that.
Grain to glass. I love that. Yeah. Did you have chemistry class when you were in high school?
Yeah, I took one.
We had like Bunsen burners, do you call it, with like different
exactly
shaped
the same
glasses
thing.
and stuff like that. Exactly. Well, for anyone that hasn't done a distillery tour, imagine that on a huge scale, but fun.
And the shiniest, most beautiful copper that you could imagine ever. It's like being inside of a laboratory.
Yeah, exactly.
Mad scientist vibes.
Do you know what? That's a really good point about liquid tourism too, is it's obviously fun to try out all this different stuff, but you meet some awesome people too.
Yeah, everybody's got a glass in hand and everything. No one's trying not to have a good time, so it's pretty ideal.
So, speaking of glass in hand, there was one pretty special bottle produced here.
Not just one. If I remember correctly, I think you busted out a couple. What Aaron's referring to is he actually got 2 bottles, some finished product.
Yeah, it took me like 2 or 3 to get it's quite hard to get the label on it properly.
And it is done by hand here at Patio 29 too. It's not like some like massive autonomous machine that's doing No. They by hand put in the final touches on that product before it gets to you.
So if you see a bottle of whiskey out there with someone's smiling face on it,
the only one in the world, the Aaron Millar Patio 29 whiskey.
This is our bottling line.
All right. Yeah, put me to work. I've never done this before. I've always wanted to try.
Here, so here's 2 bottles right here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put both of these bottles onto the tubes right here, and then press down. So you're going to do both at the same time, though.
Both at the same time. How come you do both, just for like efficiency?
Well, if you only do one, then the other nozzle is going to spray you in the face with water. So you want to do both at the same time.
Is this a big practical joke?
So then push down on there. Okay, there you go. Now you can release. Yeah.
Oh, that's just cleaning it, right?
Yeah, so that's just cleaning it out. So that's going to be an alcohol and water solution. We're just cleaning out any dust, any bacteria, anything that might be in there.
Okay.
The next step is you're going to slide one of those bottles onto here, push up, and then rest it on that little lever.
Bottle over the thing here.
So this is our filling machine.
Right, filling up the second one here.
So right now we're filling the bottles. We're filling to exactly 750 milliliters. With our bottling machine, we can fill 6 bottles simultaneously. We like to call it automated. You can't see me doing air quotes right now, but it's a very hands-on process for our bottling line. So now you can pull them off. So you just kind of push up, pull them towards you.
All right.
There you go. And then the next step is capping. So we're going to put a cap on top of it. So you're just going to rest the bottle here and then press it against the back there.
All right. Whoa.
Here, I'll do the first one and I'll let you see what happens.
I thought it was going to cap my finger.
Yeah. There you go. Oh. Yeah, so
I just messed it up.
This is one of the most finicky pieces of equipment we have in here. So believe me, it's a process.
Can I break it? Or?
No, you shouldn't be able to break it. So pull it out a little ways.
What I didn't do is I didn't line it up.
Okay, yeah.
Let me try now.
Give it. There you go. Yeah.
Kind of. Got it in the end.
I saw it going perfectly. There was no
Thank
problem
you.
there. Yep. All right, so now we got our bottles capped. So the next step is we're gonna put our heat shrink tamper-proof top on there.
Very cool.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do that, and I'll let you do this. You're just gonna pull this down and hold it up there for about 3 seconds.
Having seen me cap it, are you sure?
You'll be perfectly fine here. I don't think you can mess this part up, so it should be okay.
Well, holding it for a bit and taking it down. There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
So now we got the bottle, we got the cap, we got a label on top here.
All right, and this is the final step. Put our back label on, and then we put the front label on.
Awesome.
Every bottle that comes out of the distillery, we hand label them. 99% of the time, it's me writing that. My handwriting for numbers has gotten significantly better than when we started.
I was gonna say significantly worse because you're doing it so fast.
It depends. Bottle number 1 looks great. Bottle number 500 doesn't look so great. But bottle number 500 of batch 7 looks a lot better than bottle number 1 of batch 1.
Well, this is my first bottle of whiskey. I bottled myself.
Got it,
Thank
yeah.
you. So we get to try a little bit now as well?
Yeah, we'll do a little tasting now. Let you guys taste what we're doing.
And try it, we did.
And it was maybe the most delicious whiskey you've ever had with my face on it.
That was the only whiskey that has ever had your face on it.
That was fun, and the tasting was really fun too. And it was, he's a nice guy, family-run business.
But you didn't just try the whiskey when we were there. You tried the gin that
Which
they
is
made.
totally unlike me.
Yeah, because you're not a big gin guy. Why?
Unless you want to see me cry or have an argument with me, don't give me gin.
So why is that? Why would whiskey treat you differently than gin? Why do you think that is?
I know I don't drink gin, and that's because I think everyone had that one drink that they drank when they were younger and they shouldn't have.
Oh, Southern Comfort.
Yeah, I ruined gin. That's bad. But I think you're right. I think different drinks make us feel a little bit different. Tequila makes you dance like a madman.
And what did the Yolo gin and Yolo whiskey do to you?
It had a lot of that beautiful juniper, it had lots of herbs in it. The whiskey was delicious. I love the Yolo Brothers straight bourbon. I love the rye they do, the Buckeye rye. We were hanging out. It felt like going around to a friend's house and trying out some whiskey. Very casual, but they got a nice patio outside, Q's in the name.
Patio 29, I just wanted to mention. Do you know why it's called that?
I don't.
So 29 is the atomic number of copper, what you would use in the stills that we were admiring, those mad scientist vibe stills.
I love
and
that.
they use copper in these things, not just because it looks so cool, but because it strips away like some of the stuff you don't want to end up in your final product of whiskey or gin or vodka or whatever it may be.
Like what? What would be the things?
Arsenic.
What?
Yes, that's one of the things that it strips out.
Don't tell me that.
Absolutely.
Don't ruin whiskey for me,
How
Jason.
could it? It's taken out. You're all good. You're safe.
That's what
I
you
promise.
say.
Copper. Absolutely.
So what else do we have coming up next?
Yeah, you were mentioning the family vibe that we had going at Patio 29. I think we met almost every family member of that works at Patio 29 there that day. And then we did something very similar later that same day. We headed over to the Hive, also in Winters, which you might guess based on the name focuses on honey-based products. And because, you know, the focus of this episode is all about liquid tourism, we're talking mead here, which is one of the alcohols that you can create using honey. Do you know a lot about mead?
I feel like it's enjoyed by knights of the round table and stuff like that.
I think that's a pretty safe guess. It's like an ancient liquor. And I wouldn't blame you for not remembering a ton, because while I was driving us between all of these different locations sequentially from one to one, you were several locations deep by the time we hit the Hive. So I'll remind you that mead is an alcoholic beverage made by fermenting honey mixed with water. But you're right, mead was produced thousands of years ago throughout Europe, Africa, Asia. It was important in mythology. I know you're a big fan of Norsemen over there.
Who doesn't love a Viking?
Absolutely. So it's very prominent in Norse mythology. For example, the mead of poetry was crafted from the blood of Kvasir. I'm going to go with Kvasir.
Everyone knows that, Jason.
Anyway, he was a wise being born from the mingled spittle of the Aesir and Vanir deities.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This dude was born from the spittle of two other Nordic gods?
That might be the least weird Nordic god to be produced, to be honest.
At least this guy's writing poetry and not killing and chopping people's heads off.
Certainly. And they claimed that drinking it would turn you into a poet or a scholar. So there's hope for you yet. In any case, let's
You've clearly not read any of my poetry.
We haven't had enough mead yet. Let's take a trip over to the Hive to meet the queen bee, Amina, and her son, Josh,
I like what you did there.
nectar director.
Oh, next level.
This area is actually central to beekeeping throughout the country. Almost all the queen rearing that happens is happening just north of here. Those queens get sent out all over the country, especially during almonds and oranges, and when everything is in bloom and you need to get bees there to help pollinate. This is where everything is passing through. So we see a lot of action going all the way up and down the coast. So it's a really good location to be. We're pretty central to what's going on in the world of beekeeping on the West Coast.
So you're not honeymakers yourself, but what's some of the process of that for people that, a lot of the story we're doing is, people discovering where their food comes from. It's not a supermarket. It's like carrots grow in the ground, believe it or not. But,
milk doesn't come out in a plastic bottle.
Yeah, where's that chocolate milk cow? I want some of that. But what's the process for a beekeeper to, before the honey gets to you? What's that process?
So what happens actually is that honeybees, and only honeybees and bumblebees make honey. Bumblebees don't make enough honey for us to take. Honeybees will work and 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 work. They're called generalists. There were things growing here in the U.S. and in this whole hemisphere before honeybees got here. They arrived in the 1650s. Most people think that they were here right from the get-go, and they weren't. But there were native bees, and so the native bees are specialists and the honeybees are generalists. And essentially what happens is the honeybee flies up to a flower, and she's got a long proboscis, which is her tongue, and it comes out and it's like a straw. She sucks up the nectar through the straw, goes down into what we call the crop, her honey crop. That's her first stomach. She has 2 stomachs. If it's going to be taken back, she doesn't need anything right now. It stays in that. It never gets digested, but it mixes with invertase and becomes sucrose and fructose and glucose and breaks down into these other components that eventually begin to make honey. But if she needs it right away, she sends it on to her second stomach, and she essentially eats it at that point. So it's not ever ingested by her. It stays right there. Then when she goes back to the hive, a few little things happen. They pass it back and forth. The bees pass it back and forth. Nectar has 80% moisture. Honey has 18% moisture, and it has to, or it's going to ferment, and it won't ferment nicely. Doesn't automatically become mead. It automatically becomes yuck, and so you don't want that fermentation to happen. And so at that point, the bee has to figure out how to dry it out, and they pass it back and forth. They play with it in their mandibles, sort of like you might have played with bubble gum when you were a kid. They'd stretch it and do all kinds of things to dry it out, and eventually they inject it into the cells that we have seen pictures of. And then when that cell is all full, they cap it over. And then it sits there and it's ready to be used. Actually, from the moment they cap it over, it is already at 17.5–18%.
So why are if they're not producing that for us, obviously, why are the bees producing honey?
They just can't not do it.
They're storing it for the winter.
Right, they store it for
They're storing it for times when there isn't nectar available for them.
Food for them. They take what they need,
right.
and when the other stomach they store what they don't need.
Genetically set up to produce and produce and produce without really taking into account, there's actually lots of nectar here year round. Yeah. We don't need to do this. They're just like, no, we're going for it. And what usually shows up to us is honey that has already been extracted and strained, and it's liquid in 55-gallon drums. There's a little bit of further processing that we need to do, but our goal is to put a product into a jar that is as close to what the bees produce as possible. Some gentle warming, some gentle straining, and then bottling into different types of containers.
So honey is like the terroir of your area, because everything you collect is from that specific area. So if it's a woodland-based type honey, it's going to be what we've got here, what's growing here. And if you're in Florida, you're going to get tupelo, and if you're in Southern California, you might get orange blossom and all different kinds of things, but it's what's growing in your area.
It makes total sense. I didn't think of it like that, but the terroir of a wine, and then of course honey tastes like its region. I love that. That's really cool. So that blew my mind. Obviously, we've talked about this today, but the terroir for wine is very well known. Honey has terroir.
Yeah, just where the bees are pollinating and stuff like that.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
Jinx.
I'm sorry, I still can't pronounce terroir. Terroir?
nothing like
You got an advantage on me here with the accent.
terroir.
You make it sound, even if you were saying it wrong, it would sound good.
Just say it again.
Terroir.
There you go. Put on a French accent.
Well,
But what's really interesting about that too is that they're able to infuse flavors into it as well. And in the honey tasting, we tried all sorts of stuff that you would never think to try. They have like Californian avocado, which I actually took that one home with me. It was so nice. Absolutely loved that one. But they got like raspberry, coriander, lavender, California purple veg. When was the last time you had a purple veg?
I don't even know what a purple veg is.
I think it's a car.
They also had ones that were like cake, sugary like. I remember asking Amina, why does candy even exist? They had honey that tasted sweeter and it's almost certainly better for you than just about any candy I could possibly imagine.
It's nature's candy. And what's really interesting about that is when a bee makes it, they're not just making it in any old boring way, are they, Jason?
How are they making it?
They're making it by shaking their booties. And that's true. And so the next section is called...
The bee booty dance.
Of course it is. So there are breeding bees and shipping them to pollinate certain types of commercial crops.
Yeah, for example, like almonds is a really great example because the amount of acres of almonds in California requires all of the commercial beehives in the country.
Right, all of them.
So every beekeeper from Florida, East Coast, Midwest, Texas, and all throughout California has this massive migration into California for the almond pollination.
Yeah, we have about 500,000 beehives here year-round and about 2.5 million during almond production.
And then once the almond pollination is done, those bees go to Montana and North Dakota and South Dakota to pollinate alfalfa and sunflowers. And
bees have they fly out of the hive and they go to a floral source and they go, oh wow, I mean this is how you get a varietal, but they actually come back and say, oh, there's a bloom on. They don't, not verbally, but they come back and they talk to the rest of the hive in what we call now a waggle dance. It's like a little tap dance on the floor of the hive, because bees don't fly inside the hive, they walk, and so they do this little tap dance and a wiggle and a jiggle, and it directs the bees where to go get more and more of that honey.
Doing that good food dance. Does anyone else do that? Something really good. And
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Hey, this is yummy, let's go again.
I have a question for you, Jason. How long do you think humans would last if there were no bees, if the bees were gone?
I don't know, 10 years?
4 years.
What?
4 years, that's what they estimate. And guess who that quote is attributed to?
Who?
Albert Einstein.
Wow.
And he knew a thing or two. I don't know if he knew much about bees.
Relativity and bees.
But no, isn't that insane? That's how important they are to the ecosystem. And I think that's one of the interesting things I took from this amazing tasting, both with the honey and the mead, which I really loved, by the way.
Really?
I've never tried mead before. It's a bit different.
All I can say, though, is that it has not turned you into a poet. Or a scholar. So I would describe it as, it is a honey beverage. It is a absolutely honey-based beverage. So that's what I always get from it. And I started to be able to pick up on some of the varietals as they described them. So I'm a bit of a mead fanatic. I was really, really excited to get to go to the Hive. And it was a new experience for you.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit different in that
And it's
regard.
a nice place too, I gotta say. Like, they were setting up for a big event. There was a gig happening that night. They have a beautiful outdoor space.
And the space itself is designed almost like a beehive. It's all
honeycomb.
very environmentally sustainable, zero net carbon, all of that stuff. So it's very much, they're putting their money where their mouth is in terms of the bees are so important to our environment. Well, they're kind of reflecting that in their architecture.
So last important question. So we got to go to the back room where they store all the honey,
Oh, yeah.
and it was unbelievable. Like, how many barrels were there? Like barrels of honey.
It was like the ending scene of Indiana Jones where they walk into like the secret facility.
Yeah.
And there's just an endless, fading into the horizon of honey barrels.
Yeah, it was amazing. And just to think of what it would be like to rip open one of those barrels, shove your head in, and just go mad.
Speaking of, I remember asking Josh, because, you go to the supermarket, you pick up a bottle of honey. It's one of the pricier things, like per ounce, whatever you would call it. And I remember asking Josh, we're talking like Breaking Bad style barrels full of honey here, endlessly. I'm like, what is the value of all this product that you have here? And all I know is he would not give an answer on that one.
Quazillions. I think it was like...
I think the entire nation's GDP could be measured in barrels of honey.
It's like the new gold. Invest in honey.
Invest in honey.
You heard it here first. Yeah, it's a beautiful space. And they were actually setting up a gig while we were there. Josh was running around. Lovely outdoor place. And you can kind of do your honey, your mead. They do serve other drinks there, of course, as well. Definite stop I would recommend there. But another stop I'd recommend, beautiful space, very different, right in the heart of downtown Winters, really close to Berryessa Gap and affiliated with Corinne over at Berryessa Gap, is this beautiful little tasting room called L'Apéro Les Trois. It's a gorgeous place, and the reason it has a French name is because what they specialize in is apéritif, which is a French drink that, of course, you're supposed to drink before a meal that's supposed to bring on an appetite, and it's gorgeous and delicious.
Oh, because I'm very familiar with having a drink before a meal, but you're saying what makes this one special is that it's supposed to enhance the appetite.
Yeah, it's like a digestif would be a drink that you would have after a meal to help with the digestion.
Also familiar with that one, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so say it one more time for me. I'm sorry, my pronunciation.
L'Apéro Les Trois.
And that is what you drink before the meal?
Well, the apéritif is what you drink before the meal. L'Apéro is like a nickname for an apéritif, and it's called L'Apéro Les Trois because three women set it up. Corinne Martinez, who we met earlier, Berryessa Gap's co-owner, and they actually use a lot of her wine from that vineyard. Georgianne Brennan, who is involved with the slow food movement there, very active in that whole area, and Nicole Selenko. And what's fantastic is it's complete mad scientists, just like all the best things in YOLO seem to be. They started this in their kitchen, having fun, combining fruits and wine and all sorts of other stuff, and somehow they came out with something absolutely gorgeous.
And you got to sample a lot of those different products that
I had to be sure. I really had to be sure.
In French and Italian culture particularly, it's come to mean a pause, a moment that separates you from your daily work life. Take a deep breath, gather with friends, family, even by yourself, and have a moment to have a drink and maybe a little something to eat, and then move on to the meal. Or in some cases, don't move on to the meal. Just enjoy that moment.
Just keep enjoying that aperitif.
Exactly.
I love that about it being more than just, I knew the word was about having a drink before a meal, but I love it about it being also about just a pause, a moment to savor. And I feel like that's kind of the experience I've been having this whole trip, is just like, take a moment, breathe, you're not in the office, you don't have to rush through this, savor it, enjoy the flavor, understand where it comes from. So yeah, I think that's a wonderful ethos for this experience.
I had learned to make these in France. I have a home there and lived there off and on for many years. And all my neighbors, made these aperitifs. There's really a wine. We're using Berryessa Gap's estate wines, and then they're infused with fruit or with nuts. And Nicole and I had always talked over the years, we've known one another for a long time, about creating something.
It's always been about this unique taste experience for me. That's part of the reason why I wanted to make wine in Winters, because you're not getting boxed in, you're allowed to be creative, and we have this beautiful bounty here in California. I remember when I first moved here, it's just everything that was available, fresh fruits and vegetables, and the tasting experience that I had never had before, and it was so exciting. And then I've been working in the wine industry for almost 20 years now, so it was kind of this natural progression to get to this, I think, in many ways.
How do you do? I'm just trying to picture you two guys in the kitchen. Right? What's that like?
It's an awesome kitchen.
Yeah, what's
you should
that
see
like?
her stove.
And how do you combine it? And that just sounds like so much fun. If you maybe invite me around next time, and we'll just pour stuff into a glass.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. pretty mad scientist. And, Nicole would come over with a case of wine and various tubes and measuring apparatus. And I'd go out, and a lot of the initial fruit was from my house. So I'd go out, and I came in with a bunch of lemons, and then, should we peel? Well, let's do this. And then we'd peel them and put the zest in, and then we'd squeeze some juice, really kind of like a couple of kids with their first little chemistry set.
I love that so much. That sounds so fun. Okay, so this looks like more of a rosé base, or is that?
Hey.
Yeah.
Do you need a job? Well done.
I'll
You're
take
right.
it, yeah.
You are absolutely right.
Okay. I get a kind of figgy type of thing. Is that right or wrong?
Nothing's wrong. I get banana bread, which is a wild one. But, somebody's banana bread is someone else's fig, is someone else's clove.
Yeah.
So there's...
Well, this has been so much fun. This is like a totally new thing for me in a way. I've never tried anything like this. It's absolutely delicious. I think I'm going to have to buy all 6 bottles because I can't decide. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. This is...
Thank you. This has been awesome.
All right, so Aaron, you walked away from that might be the only place that we've visited where you've walked away with like every bottle they seem to offer.
It's great for presents. To yourself.
Yeah.
Be good to yourself. No, and that was one of the things that I loved about this is obviously there's a ton of great wine, and we picked up some beautiful wine, some amazing ports. You're a port guy. There were some beautiful Turkovich.
Oh my goodness. That bottle disappeared way too quickly.
I think your bottle disappeared quickly, and then somehow someone drank my bottle too.
You leave things around the office, you don't know what'll happen to it.
Exactly. But it was great. And then you have the mead, you have the craft beer, you have, obviously Patio 29 and the whiskey and the gin and all these other things. And it becomes like this different kind of wine tasting, if you will. Like, that's a familiar thing that a lot of travelers do. They'll try all these different types of wine. But why just stick with wine? Like, why? Like, like now I'm saying these beautiful 2 words together, liquid tourism. Why would you just limit yourself with wine? I mean, wine's great, but why not add in all these other things? So that's one of the things I took from it, just how much fun it is to do that. And also the piece about the terroir, the wine terroir, but also getting to experience all these other types of terroir that, I always think that when you go to a place, you experience it with your eyes, of course, you experience it by doing things, but I think you also experience it with taste really powerfully. It's like smell. It really invokes something emotional and a memory later on as well, of course. And I just absolutely love that. I felt it. I just got deeper into Yolo, and it was a wonderful experience, especially because you were driving.
That's how you can get super deep into the different options that you have. So you've tried them all. You've tried everything that Yolo has to offer. Yeah. Standout favorites?
I'm going with a cocktail with his 2 parts mead, 1 part Patio 29, 6 parts Le Perrotois, 1 of every fruit plate. Yeah, that is playing it safe.
A very safe answer. I think that's the best thing you could possibly say about the liquid
like
tourism in Yolo County, that all of it's amazing, even the gin. Even the gin. No tears. There were no tears.
I didn't cry. That's true. That's a positive.
That's improvement. You're making progress, buddy. Oh, and it's beautiful that we started our journey on Highway 128, the Wine to Waves tour that you can take. But we experienced so much more than that.
Yeah, this is like a road trip that you can design yourself and do any which way. This is like the liquid tourism pathways. You get to choose. It's a do-it-yourself, make your own perfect road trip. And whichever way you do it, you really can't go wrong, because it's a wonderful place to enjoy a drink with your friends and kick back and enjoy some of that California good life.
Yeah, and just slow down. Slow down and enjoy every single drop. Or, as Aaron would say as a Brit, a dram.
As a Scot, but I'm married to one, so that's okay. You can say dram. So thank you so much for joining us on this liquid tourism journey across Yolo County, California's wine secret, and the place where farm to fork and vine to glass and grain to glass come alive. So remember, you can experience everything we've done in this episode for yourself. All you need to do is book that trip, and you can find out how to do that at visityolo.com. And remember, it is easy to combine this journey with some of Yolo's neighboring wine regions by taking that road trip down Highway 128, California's wine road, which starts at the town of Winters, right next to Berryessa Gap Vineyards. Don't miss out on trying some of their wine, and runs 142 miles, beautiful, gorgeous, delicious miles to just below Mendocino, traversing Napa and Sonoma on the way. So you get the triple hit of beautiful California wine destinations. If you love food, if you love wine, if you love slowing down and living that good life, you're gonna love it too. So please do go and check that out and find out more how to do it, and find out how you can have your own liquid tourism adventure at visityolo.com.
Thank you so much to everybody who featured in this episode. Corinne at Berryessa Gap, Adam at Patio 29, Amina and Josh at the Hive, the nectar director and the queen bee herself, and of course Georgianne and Nicole at Les Apéros Les Trois.
You said that beautifully.
Thank you. I've had a lot of practice this episode. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us wherever you get your shows. You don't want to miss any of Yolo County. This series was produced by Armchair Productions, the audio experts for the travel industry. My name's Jason Paton. Aaron Millar and I wrote and presented this episode. Aaron did the drinking, and I did the field recording, mixing, and driving. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Thanks for listening to this Armchair Explorer on location episode. I had a ton of fun making it. I hope you had a ton of fun coming along with me. Next week, we'll be back with our usual format, and then there'll be lots more on location stuff to come.
Quick question. Do you want travel tips from people who have actually been there?
Our show is co-hosted by Tim Johnson, an award-winning travel journalist who's been to more than 145 countries around the world. And I'm David Brody, the other co-host who's been travel podcasting for 20 years while traveling to 50-plus countries around the world.
In about 10 or 20 minutes per show, we break down a destination with the kind of insight you usually only get from long guidebooks or hours of research.
So if you want expert advice, zero fluff, and travel inspiration that you can actually use, search for Travel in 10 wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can also find us at voyescape.com.
Hi, I'm Pauline Fromer, host of the Fromer's Travel Podcast. We post new episodes weekly, detailing the kinds of money-saving tips and cultural insights that will make your trips richer without making you significantly poorer. We do so by interviewing real travel experts like TV host Samantha Brown, Fromer's authors from around the globe, and such public figures as Free Solo's Alex Honnold. It's a fun travel party. I hope you can join us.